Hello, everybody. Welcome to Desk Jockey Fitness. Today is Friday, and we're going to be talking about leg training. You know what that is. That's that thing that every dude likes to skip, and they end up with those chicken legs. But it's more than that. It's more than that visual stuff. Yeah, you want to balance out your body with good, powerful legs, but by the same token, it's really important to train them properly so that as we age, you can avoid problems. Particularly, we lose balance. We start to our hips get weak, our hip flexors get stiff. We take falls, and that's when injuries happen. And when you're older, that ain't good. So it's really important to train those legs and keep them strong, keep your hips strong. And there's so many great ways you can do it. I used to hate leg day, but I really like it now. So what can you do? Well, the king of them all, of course, is squats. If you have access to a barbell and a cage, do squats. Doesn't have to be super heavy. You can do them light if you want to, but you need to get the form down like we talked about on the last show because it is a compound exercise. And if you get those weights up there, you don't want to injure yourself. But there's a lot of other ways that you can do. There's a lot of exercises for the legs. And if you don't have access to a squat rack and a barbell, you could do body weight squats. If you have a dumbbell, you can hold a dumbbell up under your chin and do your body weight squats to add weight and resistance. If you have kettlebells, you could do that. Get a couple wood blocks, put your legs between them, stand up, and have your kettlebell down between your legs and squat down. Bulgarian squats. That one's a great one. It's a killer. And you could start those with body weight exercises as well. You just have a bench or a chair, put one leg behind on it, keep your other leg out, stand for your weight on the one leg, and then squat down till your knee is at 90 degrees. The things you want to avoid when doing any type of a squatting exercise or a knee bend like that is to not get your knee in front of your foot. That puts stress on the knee. So make sure you're at 90 degrees when you go down in that Bulgarian squat. Or if you do lunges, it's the same type of thing. You take a step and you lunge down till your knee is at 90 degrees, and you come back up. You do the next leg, and you keep walking. You can do that outside. You could do that in a room. You can add weight to it with adding dumbbells or, again, kettlebells, holding them down on the sides. If you have the opportunity to use a leg extension machine at your gym, that's a great one for really cutting up your quads. A lot of people say, oh, well, they don't want to do that because it's bad for the knees, but it's not. It really isn't. They've proven it. If your knees are in the proper position, so when you're sitting on a leg extension machine, your knee should be in line with the rotational axis of the machine. So, if the rotational axis is here and your leg is here and this is your knee right here, that's where your seat needs to be adjusted to. And that would be completely safe. Leg curls, again, these are machines that you'll find just about at every gym to tighten up your hamstrings. And you don't want to forget about the calves either. They're a tough muscle to grow because they're made of the same fibers as your jaw muscles and your abdominal muscles. The fibers are slightly different in those because they're used every day. You never have to take a rest from eating, unless you're chewing something like taffy for an hour. Your jaw can get a little sore. But yeah, the same thing with your calves. You're always walking. You're always using them. So you really got to go heavy on those. You got to put the weight on that and really challenge it because it's used to your body weight. So do those You can do those on a step too. Just, get one, half your foot over the step and just, dip it down, feel that strength, stretch, feel that stretch in your calf and push back up on it. Very simple, very easy. These are things that you can do to train your legs at home or in the gym. It depends on how far you want to go. But again, if you don't have access to a gym, it's still really good, real easy to do these things. Another thing too is sprinting. Find a track, measure out a distance on concrete sidewalks. That's what I do. I go up to there's a elementary school near us, and each concrete block is 5 feet across. So I know that, I just count them out, 10 blocks is 50 feet, and you can keep going, and that could be your distance. And so you know how far you've sprinted. That's a great HIIT cardio exercise to do. It won't catabolize any muscle, but it'll give you that cardiovascular workout that you need. The HIIT stands for high intensity interval training, by the way. And when that's done, it's like you sprint. Let's say it's those 50 feet. You sprint that 50 feet, you walk back. You sprint it, you walk back. That type of thing. So you're getting your heart rate up, and then you catch your breath, and bam, you do it again. Great thing, and you'll feel that in your thighs. Trust me on that. So that's that. But I also wanted to take a few minutes today and answer some questions that have been coming in on the channel, and I encourage everybody to that's watching to post questions if you have. If I don't cover something clearly, or there's a topic you want me to cover, put it in the messages on my channel here. I read them. I read every one of them, and I try to reply to every one of them too. Some of them are more in depth, and it's easier for me. I'll just deal with it on the air, So we'll read some of these comments here. Let's see. Aviator Surge says, as an older person, I appreciate this video. He was talking about the strength training one that we did Wednesday. I've heard how difficult it can be to gain strength at advancing ages. Can you touch on compound exercises we can do at home with a bench and dumbbells? Well, the compound exercises, a bench press is a compound exercise. If you have I'm assuming you have the barbell with the bench, but maybe not. Maybe you just have the dumbbells. If you have the dumbbells, you could do those in-place squats I talked about where you're holding the dumbbells. Overhead presses with dumbbells, absolutely. You could do them seated as well. Depending on how heavy the dumbbells are, you could do rows with them. Put your knee up on the bench and bend over and do side lateral rows. You could do a deadlift, but you probably don't have enough weight for it to be, very effective. Let's see what overhead presses, rows, bench press, squats, and deadlifts. Those are the 5 compound exercises. So that's pretty much what you're limited to, Aviator. But if you got a bench, get a barbell, and you could do a few more things then too. Let's see. Daniel Craig says a lot of therapists actually find desk work to be the most dangerous health-wise because of how difficult it is to correct the issues people develop. Yeah, that is true. Then he says, so this whole workout is half hour-ish per day? No. Let's see what he's referring to the 5x5. The one thing I forgot to mention in there is the amount of time in between the sets, because it is a central nervous system workout. You need to have when your weights get up there, you need to you can't just do a minute. You got to do 3 minutes and sometimes 5 minutes in between each set. So that tends to take, depending on the whether you're doing workout A or B, you're probably 45 minutes to an hour. Let's see what else. JP Roca wants to know. Hello, Graham. What would you say if you switch squats for deadlifts for the strong list 5x5? So deadlifts every workout and squats every other. No, no, no. Do not do that, JP. You will injure yourself if you do that many deadlifts. Focus on the plan. It's tried and true. It goes all the way back. These type of sets go back, 60 years or even longer, possibly. I'm not exactly sure. And they work. So I wouldn't mess with the doing deadlifts. It's too many of them. You're on the fast track to an injury. So avoid that. Stick with what works. Okay, let's see. We got any more comments here? That I wanted to address. As it turns out, James Murphy says leg day is king. I do legs every session. Excellent. And you don't have the chicken legs. Going back to fat is your friend. We had a question from Daniel Craig. I'm assuming that's not the James Bond, because he got into really good shape for that movie, or his first one. Let's see. Wants to know what sorts of calorie intake I had starting out, percentage of fat versus protein carbs. Did you go 80% fat? Looks like a lot of keto places recommend 70 now. How did you calculate what you might have needed then? Maybe what you do now. Okay, so this is a question about diet and nutrition. I have basically been a lab rat. I'm always looking for that perfect balance of that perfect human diet to fuel whatever my goals are, whether it's fat loss, muscle building, whatever it may be. And I found, and we're all different, and we all process this stuff somewhat differently. So, what aggravates some people's stomach might not aggravate others. There are people that don't eat any vegetables because of the toxins in vegetables and plants, and they're very sensitive to that. They don't have an adaptation for it, so they avoid that. Where was I going with this? Oh, how did I calculate my needs? But again, back to, I've tried all different kinds. I've tried a bodybuilding diet, which was where you're counting your macros, which is a 40-40-20 split, 40% protein, 40% carbohydrates, 40% or 20% fat. And I found I didn't really like that low fat way of eating and the high carbohydrates. I had some good results on it and everything, but you're constantly eating. It's a pain in the butt. You're eating 6 times a day, smaller meals, and I found that annoying. Then there was a paleo diet, which makes a lot of sense in some cases. It's only what our Paleolithic brothers and sisters would have eaten. So if you can kill it, pick it, pluck it. Let's see, kill it, pick it, pluck it. Dig it out of the ground. You could eat it. So in other words, nuts, any kind of proteins, berries, tubers, all that stuff was on the menu. But they don't what you couldn't have is anything that was manufactured, obviously, 'cause those people didn't manufacture food, so, there was no cheese, couldn't have any of that, and, of course, a lot of these there's no alcohol. Mm. So, so that one was okay, I ate a lot of vegetables doing that, but I found that vegetables, are really just fat delivery devices. Nobody just eats the raw vegetables. They're they just they don't taste great. You got to put something on them, or you got to cook them. And then when you cook them, break that fiber down so that it's easier to eat. You still got to put something on it. You're putting on some type of fat, butter, something like that. Um, so again, low fat, no good for me. The paleo was okay again, but found I was hungry. Keto was one that I did, and the keto diet is high fat. It's moderate protein and very little carbs. You want to keep it under. I think the net carbs are under 30 um, to maintain ketosis, and that's when the liver produces ketones to use in lieu of the glycogen from the carbohydrates. Um, Again, that's not a fad diet. The keto diet has been around since the early 20th century. It was developed originally for children that had epilepsy. And they found that by burning ketones and keeping the carbohydrates out, their minds kept sharper, and it suppressed epileptic seizures. Uh, so that one's tried and true, been around a long time too. Um, I like that one a lot, actually. Uh, I can eat a lot of the stuff that I really like. Um, I mean, I do like certain carbohydrates, but I can live without them, really. Rice, potatoes, pasta, pizza, although they have cauliflower pizza now, which is really good. Um, So I can do without that, but, yeah, every once in a while, I'll crave it, and then, if I'm doing keto, uh, I'll bang some down, I'll give myself a cheat day, and then, hop right back on it, take a couple days, burn the glycogen back out, and you're good to go. Uh, the problem with the keto diet is that, I was eating too much protein, um and if you eat a lot of protein or excess amount of protein, that protein gets converted to glycogen and it kicks you out of ketosis, or it can kick you out of ketosis, and you don't get all the benefits from it. So, so then the latest one that I'm doing right now is the carnivore diet, which is a ketogenic diet, only a little bit more stricter. Um, in that it's virtually zero carbs. You're not eating anything but fat and meat, uh, and lots of it. And again, I think in some cases I don't get enough fat, even though I'm eating fatty cuts of ribeye, bacon, all that kind of stuff. Um, but when I do eat leaner meats, chickens and stuff, fish, I really need to slather on butter and stuff and get that fat level up. Uh, I like this one. I like how I feel on it, and before anybody, wonders, I had my blood checked, and, it was fine. My cholesterol level was up a little bit, uh, and all the books on this, say you can expect that, but cholesterol in and by itself is not an indicator of heart disease, or future heart disease. Your triglycerides are a bigger indicator in conjunction with high cholesterol. And my cholesterol, the two together were right in the green zone. Even though that the LDL was a little high, was high, and uh, the HDL was lower than it should be. They still offset and kept me. I was still right in the zone. Triglycerides were on the money. I was under the numbers there. Uh, the interesting thing was I've been vitamin D deficient for years. And that's not unusual in the Northeast because, you know, we're in the houses for, 8 months a year, 6 months a year. Um, but I'd been taking vitamin D supplements to help with that. And then in the summer, I'm out fishing all the time. I'm out in the sun all the time. And I had blood work done in the summer one time, and I was still deficient. And I didn't know what it was. I went on keto, and or I went on the carnivore diet, just eating meats and fats, and my and I stopped taking the supplements, and my vitamin D shot right up, right into the green zone again. So I'm no longer deficient in vitamin D. So that's currently what I'm doing, food wise. And what the other thing I like about it is you don't have to portion control. You don't have to weigh anything. You eat until you're full, and it's very simple. And I like that. And I'm not eating six meals a day. I'll eat 3 eggs and 5 pieces of bacon for breakfast. I'll work out, and I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. I could skip lunch if I wanted to. And then when I have dinner, well, for lunch today, I had a whole rib. It had to be a good pound or more. And I'm not hungry. It's now, it's getting up there because I record these on Thursday actually. So it's dinner time now, and I'm just not hungry. So it's very satiating. So it's something to look into. Everybody's got to find their what works for them. I'm not going to promote one over the other. I used all of them. They've all worked to a certain degree. It's just if you commit to them, it's what works best for you. What satisfies you, what makes you feel good, and importantly, what um, keeps you healthy. So. Uh, so I think that's all the questions. Let me just double check here. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, yeah, I don't see any more questions here. I handled the one about cravings. Yeah. Okay. All right. We got it covered. Um, you guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Hit that like button. Help monetize the show. We'll be back again on Monday with another subject. If you have requests, hit me up here in the YouTube studio, and let me know what questions I can answer, or what I can delve deeper in for you to help you on your way. You guys can do this. I'm 60 years old. Uh, I can do it. You can do it. So, just stay focused, stay consistent, and be committed. Those are the two things: commitment and consistency. And you can do this. You can conquer anything. So I wish you a great weekend, and get those workouts in. Figure out what your plan is. You always should have a plan, which incorporates your diet as well, so that you can achieve your goals. So we'll see you Monday. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.